Although the theories about classroom management and teaching are important, my mission and purpose for teaching is more benefited by the theories of moral development that we have learned this semester. I want to help students find their full potential, worth, and happiness in God, and to be able to see it themselves. Therefore, understanding the theories of moral development will be more helpful for me in my classroom. The two theorists I connected with most are Bronfenbrenner and Erikson. Bronfenbrenner's systems make it clear that the impact the environment has on development is quite substantial. Of these stages, I see many impacting students. The macro system, which is the child's overarching culture, consists of the social values, customs, and mores of the group of people who make up that child's world. This really influences the microsystem. The microsystem, the exosystem, and the mesosystem that links the two are the three most crucial and evident in a child's life, because they work to make the child who he or she is and are the prominent environments the child learns from. Although the chronosystem is important and can have serious effects, I disagree that it really impacts all children equally. If a situation in the chronosystem impacts the child greatly, for example, if a child's parents die in 9/11, or if a child is really impacted by the damage that 9/11 has done to his or her community, then it would not only be in the chronosystem, but in the microsystem or a more intimate sphere. Knowing Erikson's 8 stages will be extremely beneficial in my classroom as I interact and minister to students. The stages are accurate representations of the lessons learned at each age. However, if they are not at that stage, knowing these stages will help one relate to each child. Because if they are not at a specific stage prescribed to their age, the student will be at one or a mixture of other stages. An example would be that even though I will be dealing with students in my classroom who are projected to be at the industry versus inferiority stage, I may have students in the autonomy versus shame and doubt stage, which means I have to interact differently with that student. Yet, being familiar with that stage, I can appropriately interact even if it is not common in my classroom. Kohlberg also falls into the category of moral development. I agree with Kohlberg in the development of his theory and that each stage is evident in a child's psychological development. It is very easy to see each of his stages in the order they come in, starting with preschool and pre-conventional, and it is very clear that starting late in high school and early in college, the post-conventional stage begins. The most accurate stage, I believe, is the conventional stage, because the majority of students go through a phase of knowing the necessity of maintaining social order. This is very clear in junior high and high school students, and even some college students. Once again, I believe it is the belief that knowing the stages will be beneficial, because even if they do not match the specific one they are supposed to align with, they will match one of the stages. Although my main goal of being in a classroom is to be a channel of God's love and acceptance for my students, I know it is important to help them learn as best as they can in my classroom. Several theories really impacted how I think to accomplish education in the classroom. Vygotsky is a theorist I believe is important to understand and apply in the classroom, since so many students are social learners. Vygotsky's theory revolves around the idea of the zone of proximal development, which is the area between where the student is now operating independently in mental development, and where he or she might go with assistance from an adult or more mature student. These adults or more mature students are called MKOs, or more knowing others. This is anyone in a position to help someone who isn't grasping the objective. MKOs, along with scaffolding learning, provide support and adapting support to the student. MKOs and scaffolding learning also can play a really large part in group learning, which I feel will be really important for social learners in my classroom and is a great way for students to learn. Behaviorism really depends on operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is the reinforcers. The response is contingent upon the performance. The key to operant conditioning is control. The practices that go along with operant conditioning, the methods of controlling and rewarding student behavior, are important tools in creating an effective environment. Some of the different methods of operant conditioning may be hard to use or teach in a classroom of older students, but it still could work well if the base was set for them at a young age in elementary classes, or if the teacher can demonstrate that kind of control over the students. An effective environment is really crucial. This is a place where students can learn pro-social and other kinds of behaviors and lessons so that they can thrive in society. Information processing is important. The information processing model provides a basis for logic involved in thinking. These three of the most important ways that happens is sensory register, short-term memory, and long-term memory. Applying the working memory is a practice that I agree with most from this theory. It emphasizes the child's learning and not the facts that go in and out of their mind for testing or simply to pass. The most effective type of learning, permanent long-term memory, and most practical for the future is in college and even development of the person. Finally, Piaget's stages of development seem very structured and leave little room for students with learning disabilities in the classroom. The way each stage is structured makes it difficult to place students who are of a certain age but not a certain level, making instruction and planning hard for the teacher. I do not think I will use Piaget a lot in my classroom because of this, but also because it pigeonholes students and their level of learning, which is not my mission in the classroom. My mission is to uplift and help children thrive, rather than degrading them or setting them at a lower standard because of where their educational practices are. Ultimately, both types of theories are important for teachers to know and understand, and are important in maintaining balance and a safe classroom atmosphere. I may place more emphasis and see more I can apply in the moral and social development stages, but I know that there is a time and place where theories necessary for a successful classroom come into play.